Anyways, okay, so
We're going to start this off. Actually, what started this off was him asking about a particular thing. I don't even know if that's important. Long story short, we found this website, all right? physicsdetective.com. All right.
awesome. Really cool website. On here, he goes by the Physics Detective. He has a couple of aliases as well.
He's John
Duffield, Duffield, something like that.
AKA
Farsight.
Bars.
The other name out of
Full England.
Poole, England. Is that,
It looks nice. Good for him.
doesn't look like a bad place.
Bro's living on the fucking coast and he's complaining about it.
He is, yeah. He's complaining about where he lives. Anyways, so he goes on, he starts, and what would you call it? It's not social justice, it's like science justice, I think is what he calls it, or something.
Does he actually call it science justice?
Well, it's over here on this one.
Alright, so yeah, we have two things here. We first found the Physics Detective. We did a little diving in and found he has a Stack Exchange account, which is usually like, I think it's for coding. I know Stack Overflow is definitely for coding. But he's incorrectly using it, trying to accuse mods of being secret police or something. He's an IT guy, but he has a fascination with physics, which makes him qualified to talk about this stuff. So
I think that makes us qualified to talk about it as well. I mean, me personally, I took like biology in high school. I took one chemistry class in college and then dropped out. So I mean, if he's an IT guy and I'm a college dropout, then we're about the same.
yeah, we got college dropouts and IT guy. So
Yeah, I mean,
I think this is a good battle here.
I'm not looking at it so much from a physics standpoint because you'll see.
So we have right here, quantum entanglement is scientific fraud.
I think the reason he clicked on this in the first place is because right under the name of this, like one of his blurbs that was under there said something about quantum entanglement is bullshit. And that's what he actually wrote several times in the article, was calling, I think he said the scientific theories bullshit.
Yeah, here I'll scroll all the way back up.
Oh, this was also a really interesting thing, is that he makes reference to a lot of Schrodinger's work, but he never references the specific work. He just says, then Schrodinger came up with a paper where he talked of entanglement, a paper where he used his cat to show how ridiculous the two-state situation was, and a paper saying he found spooky action at a distance to be repugnant. And then compared it to voodoo magic, where a savage believes that he can harm his enemy by piercing the enemy's image with a needle. So
it's a cute little comic here.
some of that was a quote, allegedly from some paper that Schrodinger wrote at some point in time somewhere about something.
All right, so he has this highlighted. I can click on a paper here. This is scary. What is this? Materias.df.
Oh, so he does actually have the translation of Schrodinger's kid. So it's a translation by John D. Trimmer, because Schrodinger was a German, right? So it would have been translated from German, presumably to English.
I think, yeah, it's them.
And then it would have been translated from English to retard by Duffield. Whatever.
Yeah, he did the ultimate translation, which, he
But
provides-
you can see it, the spooky action at a distance thing obviously lays it out. And then, what's this? NASA? So he uses NASA as a
he uses
source.
this little source here that does not exist on the NASA website.
The cosmic object you were looking for has disappeared beyond the event horizon. So it's not even something that, like, exists, I guess, when you go to look at it.
So it's interesting. You see that there's like most of this website. There's a long ass scroll here. It's just him. It's a conspiracy site, all right.
But it's interesting because the way that he goes around about describing, like trying to debunk this, as a lot of conspiracy theorists do. He doesn't really use facts to do it. He just goes about what he believes. I'm just gonna take
This
it.
isn't him. This is a different guy. But I just thought it was.
This is the kind of traffic that he actually peddles to. I guess I think this is his target audience because they go on for weeks, if not months. So he says this guy Raf Verheyen or whatever is replying to something that the Physics Detective, his article, but puts, "It seems our world has gotten dumber. It should be the other way round. In my work, I deal with optics and lasers, so I knew something was not right. It also appears that these scientists hide behind their fancy math and difficult terms and ridicule outsiders that they are not smart enough to understand. and also give the typical reply that it is proven by measurements. What they don't realize is that the setup of the measurement is key in understanding the outcome. Wrong assumptions lead to wrong conclusions.
Sorry, I'm just looking up because you can have a bunch of different jobs with optics and lasers. This guy, like,
I mean, if you think about it, technically, you could work at McDonald's and be working with optics and laser. I mean, technically, there's cameras around.
yeah, you could be
I mean, like, you could
just be like a surveying guy, just like walking around and
you
surveying.
just go out and be like, my job is to survey a fucking street to see if it needs to be wider or not.
Doesn't mean that you
Optics
understand
and
it.
laser.
But yeah, that was a little like exciting little brief on that.
I think this one personally is a little bit more interesting than the
This
other
one, so okay, so this one is his actual stack exchange. So here's a stack exchange. He hasn't used it in more than 2 years supposedly, and I think for good reason.
Member for 9 years and 4 months. I mean, this is the kind of the terrifying part. Is according to this, his impact. He's reached 3,000 people with this information.
This one was interesting. The open Justin versus
that one is pretty cool. I didn't even look at this canonical relativistic rocket something or other. I didn't get to read the rest of it yet. A canonical relativistic rocket question.
So I guess this is like, what is this? Some sort of, it's a forum for just a bunch of random shit. Is that what Stack Exchange is? I'm still trying to figure out what this is.
You know, I mean, it kind of looks like it. Be like a sort of
Like a Reddit?
yeah, like a weird Reddit for. Oh, at that point, why
For
not
deep
use
staters.
Reddit? Maybe he just got kicked off of Reddit. Fucking
Maybe we'll find out later.
do a little digging.
It appears that the article has not been deleted. All right, so he was
Let's move
freaking.
to this address. Okay, so he was freaking out about this guy named John Baez.
All right.
A website disappeared, and I guess he was concerned that all of the equations, the relativistic rocket equations, disappeared with the website.
So I guess this is his website.
This is the website that he was looking for. So
My guess is that this guy looks at these websites, just reads the information. Obviously, he doesn't understand this shit, like what's going on here.
I mean, I don't either.
I don't either, but like I'm
not going to speak on it. Like, I'm not here to check the credibility of this stuff because I have no idea what the. I mean,
maybe this guy's wrong. I don't know.
That's not for me to decide.
His old website.
So it doesn't even really explain. Like, looking at it, it doesn't even really explain what he's trying to get out of it. It just looks like he wanted to look at it so he could rip into it. So this one is, I think,
Open Justice versus the Secret Police.
this one's like my favorite one that we came across so far because the back and forth that he has in here with this other guy is really funny. But yeah, I guess we could just break down a little discussion thing that he has here.
It's like he's calling out the moderators for being corrupt.
Right, because this is a direct attack at Stack Exchange.
I like this little thing here. The latest case has elements of all others. It again centers on septuagenarian grandmother, who was last month sentenced 6 months in jail for reasons which beg a belief. Her only offense was to have refused to sign a letter she regarded as quite improper, authorizing British social workers to remove an 81-year-old man from Portugal, his native country, to bring him back to England against his wishes. So I guess.
And then the one after that, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he's talking about I guess the UK is unjust and people are jailed in secret for nothing. I can't say that. I can't say for sure. I haven't been to UK, so maybe they do.
Well, he goes on to say, of course, you might say that this can't be relevant to a mere website like Stack Exchange. No shit. But I think it is, because I'm sorry to say, power corrupts. No offense to the moderators who give up their time, but people are very good at confirmation bias and conviction. You are, dude. Good job. They have an amazing ability to persuade themselves that some groupthink or official action they're taking is right and proper, even when it isn't. So he's kind of like, I feel like he almost looked into a mirror.
It's ironic. It's an irony piece.
Particularly when self-interest is whispering in their ear. I'd say it's only public scrutiny that keeps them in check. Open justice. That's kind of like his big thing, is open justice. He wants to
bring all the information out. And
it's kind of like his whole thing across all of his, like the physicist detective, the Stack Exchange, like everything. It's just him bringing these issues to light because people not paying attention to physicists and socialism, and what else? I guess the UK taking people's rights away are somehow all linked together.
He's like, but I do think all warnings and suspensions should be listed with a reason. An example. On rare occasion, I'd say it's okay not to give the example because it absolutely had to be deleted. But in my honest opinion, this should be exception rather than the rule. And then he tells him to discuss. Discuss!
So then, this guy, I love his response to this Daniel Sank guy, right out of the gate, says, shouldn't this be on the mother meta? So basically, he's like, what the fuck, you get off this site. He's like, how is this question specific to our site? He's like, what are you doing on here? Like, how does this have anything to do with what we do on Stack Exchange?
And they're in another argument. All right.
And then they immediately get into this other argument about chat moderation and where was it? It was down here somewhere that he had talked about censorship and right here it is. Perfect.
Said to Heather, we couldn't find the response, or we couldn't find Heather, the source that he was trying to complain about. He or somebody else, or they themselves, deleted it. That's what they're complaining about later, is that he's deleting these things, which is funny because
of what he actually says
Heather. He wants open justice.
His response to Heather is what makes it so ironic. He says, there's websites where thought police moderation is an issue, where I and others do not participate. I wouldn't want Stack Exchange to go that way, and I think some openness would help. There seems to be a general trend in the world at large with safe space censorship and people who say it's okay to punch some guy in the face because he must be a Nazi because he doesn't agree with me. Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, he pulled up his little thing. He said, I'm an IT guy with a deep interest in physics. I've done a lot of research, particularly into historical papers. See my physics detective. And then he plugs his webpage.
All right, I like another preface. This isn't a hate piece on this guy, right? He's just walking around, just trying to
have a good time.
All right, so we tried looking up, his alias.
Farsight. And actually, believe it or not, some more interesting stuff came up.
I think this is going to be like the pinnacle of the video. Everything else before that is pretty much just like a build up to this.
This is what was like. Clicked on this, and I think the thing that crossed both of our minds is I was like, this dude 100% has to be a member on this site.
Some way affiliated with.
There's no way. I just saw Epstein. Yeah. It was too convenient for us to like, what do they call it? A click trail from his physics detective, and then end up on Farsight, which was his
alias.
It just seemed really convenient. But we ended up there.
So we'll check out one of these videos, but first I want to kind of explore this AI website. They're very clearly AI, a lot of them. So insectoids. What is that? We have to subscribe to watch this.
It's ridiculous. So that kind of falls into the what were you talking about? What fucking said it? Deep mind imaging or whatever the fuck. That right there. Yep.
Remote viewing.
Remote viewing. That's what it is.
So military has been using this for years, and they won't release it to the public.
It's not the fact that it exists that's a problem. It's the fact that the public doesn't get it, right?